Hello everybody, Mr. Penn here, and I'm going to talk about two things. Talk about painting a door, and I'm going to talk about Verona, Italy. So, before you go berserk and say, why is Mr. Penn painting a door in the middle of school hours? I was up at 5 a.m. I accessed our grade program for about 3 hours, 5 to 8. And, teachers, that's a smart thing for them to do anyway because it's off peak hours, and EDSB, our grade program, moves pretty quickly. So it's a smart thing to do anyway. So seeing as I put in 3 hours early this morning, then why not have the flexibility of painting a door in the morning time? So that's what I'm doing. And I also think it illustrates, flexibility of this online learning escapade, or whatever's going on, whatever we're calling it. Because I think that's what students like about it also. One of the biggest things is flexibility. So that if you want to do all your work, and get it over with for the week, that's great, and have the rest of the week to enjoy yourself or whatever you're doing. Or if you want to wait to the last minute and get it done, as long as it's quality work, that's up to you. It's an example of the flexibility of online learning. Anyway, I'm starting to paint this door here, and I'm doing the trim first around the edges. Sometimes painters call it a cut-in if you're doing the corners of a room first, and then I'm going to roll the main parts, the edges. Doing these edges here around the window and around the doorknob here, that's difficult. It's kind of setting the stage. Is kind of setting the stage for the roller or the grounds, doing the groundwork of the painting. And that got me thinking about our unit that we're going to start of Romeo and Juliet, and setting the stage for the play of Romeo and Juliet. And if you've done a little bit of research, perhaps even before you left for spring break, you might have talked about the setting for Romeo and Juliet. So what's the setting? Everybody out there knows it. Don't all raise your hand at once. The setting is Verona, Italy. And you might say, Shakespeare, why did you choose Verona, Italy? And that gets you thinking about the coronavirus, because why does Italy have some of the most cases of coronavirus in the world? Have you give that one any thought? Why was it Italy? Like right after China, it was Italy, second, that had the most cases. But why is that? Well, if you do a little research about Verona, Italy, you find out that it's at a crossroads of major rivers and routes throughout Italy. And it always has been, going back to Shakespeare's time. And so therefore is a very important part of Italy for commerce and for the arts and culture. And going back throughout history, it's a city that was constantly fought over because of its strategic location and its culture, its arts and culture. Even going back to Roman times, I think Julius Caesar even had it as like a vacation area. And you all know that Shakespeare wrote one of his most famous plays was Julius Caesar. So, did Shakespeare ever travel to Verona? Well, that's not known. it's theorized because there's a gap in his life history where people have no idea, or scholars have no idea where he was. So a theory is that he was in Italy, because that would be something that Englishmen and ladies would aspire to, is a trip to Italy. You know, this is something that you could do to pass the time. Some people have said they're bored. Well, get a project like this. Painting is actually fun. You know, go to your parents and say, hey, how about I paint that thing, that room, that door for you. You know, it makes you feel good to do things for others, and your parents would really appreciate it. And you'd learn something. So let's learn more about Verona. Well, where is it located in Italy? Like I said, it was a major hub of commerce. It's in the northeastern part of Italy. So that is the part that is closer to Austria and the Adriatic Sea than the other side, which is France. And in fact, like I said, it wasn't even a part of Italy at different time periods. Now, talking about Romeo and Juliet, the storyline, everybody knows it's the story of two star-crossed lovers, right? Why did Shakespeare set it in Verona? Well, it was easy for people to believe the family vendettas in that part of Italy. I don't know whether Shakespeare wrote it from knowledge, but a major part of Romeo and Juliet is that these families hate each other, going back generations, and they have these vendettas. You know, Romeo and Juliet, stereotypical, because they're saying that Italians, there's whole families that hate each other. And then you take that forward, fast forward to mafia. You know, that's a stereotype of Italians. And they are known for mafia, right? So that is one reason why Shakespeare would have said it in Italy, first of all, because of the Italian culture. And second of all, these vendettas that Italy was known for is not a stretch of the imagination when Shakespeare was writing the play. So people might have even understood the fact that in Italy there was families that hated each other for generations. So the storyline, you know, is you've got these two families that despise one another, yet a young teenager, Romeo, falls in love with a young teenager from the other family, and I'll let you recall what the names of the families are, or find that out. They fall in love, and of course, that is a huge problem for the rest of the families, as well as themselves, because these two families are sworn enemies. All right, so now you know a little bit about Verona. You know a little bit about painting a door. The next thing I'm going to do after the trim work is done is I'm going to use a roller on a door that has very narrow edges like this. It's good to use a little mini roller like this rather than one of those long ones. And it puts a nice finish, a smooth finish on the door. Hello, Peaches. Are you supervising the painting? Would you like a treat? Ooh, come get a treat. Come on.